All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the wolfSSL live webinar, migrating from Mocana to wolfSSL with wolfSSL engineer Eric. My name is Marcos and I'll be moderating the webinar. All attendees will be in listen-only mode. If you have questions, please use the Q&A box or raise your hand to be unmuted if you'd like to ask the question live. Q&A session will be following the presentation. The webinar will also be recorded and made available on our YouTube channel shortly after the presentation. I invite you to follow us on Twitter at wolfSSL as well as our other socials. Feel free to email us at facts@wolfSSL.com if you have additional questions. Before we get into the presentation, I'm going to give a quick company overview. wolfSSL was founded in 2004 by Todd Oska and Larry Stefanich when they realized there wasn't an open source dual license embedded SSL library available. OpenSSL existed at the time, but there was a demand for an alternative that was easily portable, smaller, faster, available under a clear commercial license, was equipped with a clean and modern API, and offered commercial style developer support. wolfSSL was born into this market need with an OpenSSL compatibility layer. Today, wolfSSL secures over 2 billion connections. We have more than 1,000 OEM customers and dozens of resellers. wolfSSL is made up of almost 50 dedicated employees in 2022, most of which are engineers. This project is, of course, supported by a strong partner network that we're proud of, which includes DDCI, STMicro, and RTI, for example. Since the beginning, our engineering team has developed several embedded security products, including wolfCrypt with DO-178 support, FIPS certification, and a FIPS-ready offering, MQTT up to the V5 specification, SSH v2, TPM 2.0, a secure bootloader known as wolfboot, as well as Java wrappers and JSSE support, and commercial support for Curl as well. All of these offerings are accompanied by thorough maintenance and support plans up to the 24/7 level. We also offer full service consulting. That's all for my company overview. I'm going to hand it over to Eric now for the presentation.
Excellent. Thank you, Marcos. So hi, everyone. I'm Eric Blankenhorn. I'm an engineer with wolfSSL. Today, we'll be reviewing the benefits of upgrading from Mocana's orphan product lines to the actively maintained, best-tested security library, wolfSSL. I call them orphan because you can't actually even find the original Mocana products on the DigiCert website anymore. wolfCrypt is at the core of all the wolfSSL products, and it contains the latest cryptography and algorithms. wolfCrypt is implemented in ANSI C and contains platform-specific optimizations in assembler. As you'd expect, these are standardized algorithms, and test vectors are used to ensure that signatures, hashes, and encrypt and decrypt operations all work correctly. wolfSSL, the library, adds a full TLS stack, implementing all the way up to the very latest TLS 1.3 version of the specification. If you're not already aware of the benefits of using TLS 1.3, I'd invite you to check out wolfSSL's series of webinars that are available on YouTube. wolfSSL also supports DTLS, and the latest revision of that protocol, 1.3, is currently under testing and will be completed soon. wolfSSL also adds support for many of the critical features required for secure communications, including certificate handling, stapling, and revocation, all configurable and optimized to work with your embedded platform. wolfboot is a portable secure bootloader solution that offers firmware authentication and firmware update mechanisms. Due to its minimalistic design, wolfboot is completely independent from any OS or bare metal application. wolfboot can be easily ported and integrated in an existing embedded software project to provide a secure firmware update mechanism. The wolfSSH library is a lightweight SSH v2 client and server library. It also supports SCP, SFTP, and port forwarding. And since wolfSSH also uses wolfCrypt, all the optimizations and platform support are inherited. So, as you can see, there's a direct path for migrating all of these Mocana orphans to secure, supported, updated, and maintained solutions from wolfSSL. So we've talked a little bit about how there are similarities between the product lines, but now we're going to focus on the added benefits that come along using wolfSSL. Starting with the open source project support. These are just a few of the projects that wolfSSL works with. These projects are used the world over to power the infrastructure of the internet and IoT. They use wolfSSL because it provides a proven solution capable of being optimized and configured for any platform. Apache and Lite web servers benefit from faster handshakes that use less resources per connection. Boost ASIO secures the low-level I/O operations used in so many resource-constrained embedded projects. libBST combines with wolfSSL to allow secure certificate enrollment, management, and public key infrastructure requests and responses. OpenSSH and libSSH are full-featured communication suites, and when linked against wolfSSL, it can be used in embedded environments and platforms that were not possible with other security libraries. Qt users benefit from the wolfSSL TLS provider because they get the latest protocols, smaller footprint, and portability. StrongSwan uses wolfSSL to provide FIPS certified cryptography to their IPsec-based VPN solution. And curl is nearly ubiquitous in projects of all sizes around the globe. wolfSSL can be used with curl to offer certified, tested, and embedded optimized protocol tools. And we've got many others available. If you just go take a look at our GitHub page, it'll link right there. The next point I'd like to make is arguably the most important. wolfSSL takes testing very seriously. And to demonstrate this, here's the rainbow of testing. We have incorporated testing into all our coding processes, and the testing matrix grows daily. From the instant that a code change is committed on the developer's system, an array of API and unit tests are run locally. This ensures that the most common configurations still build and that memory usage remains consistent. After the changes are pushed out to the repository as a pull request, then the real challenges are started. Configurations for supported platforms, tool sets, and operating systems with and without various features enabled are all validated against the code changes. With some of our support packages, a customer's configuration can be included in our build test suites. We can even incorporate custom hardware to ensure that new versions of wolfSSL will work with your application. Next, a wide variety of vector tests and interoperability suites are checked. These include protocol compliance tests, regression tests, and even fuzzer tests. We also test against other wolfSSL products and open source solutions. After all the continuous integration testing has completed, the reviews start. This is where having a brain pool that consists of all the original authors really makes a difference. All code changes have to be peer reviewed by the team. We only accept code changes from team members and approved contributors. Since we are open source, our code also benefits from university researchers that coordinate with us to improve and harden our implementations of the protocols. This is a huge advantage over closed source libraries, because hiding the code does not mean the problems stay hidden. Here's another more in-depth look at the tests, at the suite of tests that get run after the code has been merged into the repository. If there are any failures, these tests generate reports that are shared with the team to notify everyone that someone screwed up. I mean, that an issue needs to be reviewed. You'll notice that we incorporate a lot of third-party tools for memory tests, static analysis, and especially fuzz testing. These are the very same tools used by malicious actors to find vulnerabilities. The difference is that we also use them to find and fix issues before the storm starts brewing. Now let's highlight some more important reasons that customers have switched from Mocana to wolfSSL. As we discussed earlier, having security library experts available to review your code changes is critical. And who knows the code better than the original authors? The wolfSSL team, or pack as we call ourselves, works relentlessly to maintain the libraries and add new features and components as they are needed in the many vertical markets that we participate in. Despite all the testing, no software is perfect, and sometimes problems are identified in protocols that we have implemented. wolfSSL is committed to fixing issues that are reported to us fast. On average, we are able to turn around a tested fix within 36 hours of a report coming in. We coordinate with both the researchers and our customers to ensure all parties are provided ample time to respond before any disclosure is made public. Support is a hallmark of wolfSSL, and we offer free help to anyone getting started with a project using wolfSSL products. Our support staff are top-notch, and we even offer support packages that assign a dedicated wolfSSL engineer to help resolve any issues that you might be facing with your application. I'll speak more about the available support solutions in just a bit. Only certified cryptography can be used in some applications, which is why we took parts of our wolfCrypt library through full DO-178 DAL-A certification for use in avionics. This includes traceable artifacts and encryption algorithms such as SHA-256 and 384, AES, RSA, SHA-20, Poly 1305 for authenticated encryption and decryption, ECC for signing and verifying and sharing secrets, and HMAC for keyed hashing and message authentication. And lastly, wolfSSL has a well-defined and communicated roadmap. This means we're committed to keeping you in the loop when it comes to planning our features and products. We were one of the first to implement TLS 1.3, starting with the very early drafts of the protocol way back in 2017. We've continued that track, and we will be one of the first libraries to support TLS 1.3. Anyone requiring FIPS certified cryptography has likely used or heard of us already, and we are primed for the next iteration of FIPS with our FIPS 140-3 certification. We are proud to announce that our latest cert is moved into the modules and process list for FIPS 140-3 approval. Our FIPS solution is compatible with all of our products, and you can even use it with other TLS libraries via Wolf Engine. We are confident that we will be one of the first general purpose software libraries with certified 140-3. So a couple of summary slides before we move on. As we discussed earlier, moving from Mocana libraries to wolfSSL is a very straightforward process, and we're here to help you along the way. The TLS and SSH libraries are implementations of standardized protocols. This implies that they can be readily swapped out in favor of the better solution. The basic operation of the cryptography libraries are the same. Data goes in one side and comes out encrypted, decrypted, signed, or hashed on the other side. And we're here to help. We offer consulting packages specifically for customers that are transitioning to wolfSSL because we don't want to see anyone get left out in the storm. I mentioned earlier that we talk a little bit more about the support offerings for wolfSSL. We have a package that will suit your team's needs. This falls in line with our testing options that I talked about. We can add your configuration or environment to our testing harness, thereby ensuring that all new versions of wolfSSL are already tested against your build settings. This is invaluable for teams that do not have time for integration testing when new releases or fixes come along. Our support staff is ready to help answer any questions or provide optimization advice. In addition to direct support, we also offer assistance from our community forums, GitHub. We also have an extensive repository of examples that is constantly growing and being updated. And in appreciation of all the interest we've had in moving projects from Mocana to wolfSSL, we're happy to share with you the Mocana Migration Kickstart program. This special offer provides a full year of top-notch wolfSSL support for free. This allows your team access to wolfSSL's knowledgeable support staff who will help answer any library, platform, or application questions that might come up. And if that wasn't enough, we're also offering half off for Mocana users that are ready to upgrade to wolfSSL. This is an amazing opportunity to start using an updated and reliable security library. So if any of you are using Mocana Nano products, we can help you migrate to supported wolfSSL solutions. And with that, I'll invite you to go and download wolfSSL and wolfCrypt today. You can get us at our webpage or on GitHub. And then I'll turn it back over to Marcos for any closing statements or questions that come up.
All right, so we don't have any questions queued up right now, but let's just give it a couple seconds if anyone's typing out a question. Or if you want to be unmuted, you can click on the raise hand icon.
Alrighty, everybody. Hi, my name is Kajal Subkota. I'll be another moderator for this webinar. This is now the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A box or raise your hand if you'd like to ask the question live at this moment. Alrighty, we have a couple of questions here for you, Eric. Can you please repeat the benefits of transitioning from Mocana to wolfSSL?
Hi, sure. So the primary thing that we're concerned about with customers that are still using Mocana software is that they're basically at a dead end for updates and for newer versions of the protocol, and they're also going to be potentially vulnerable to any problems that have arisen over the course of since the last release. And so that's one of the primary things that we'd like to point out. Another thing is that our support is just absolutely top notch, and so that's one thing that you can't get around when you're using a closed source library, in the sense that you can actually inspect what's going on, and we can walk you through it, and you can validate that yourself.
Okay, awesome. And I think we're waiting for a question from someone. I guess while we wait, Eric, can you tell us some of the advantages of using, I guess, wolfSSL over OpenSSL as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So OpenSSL is another place where we see a lot of customers trying to migrate to a better solution. A lot of the problems that they're faced with are due to resource constraints. wolfSSL is one of the top of the line for the embedded marketplace. It's highly configurable, customizable, and really designed from the start to run on embedded targets. And of course, that propagates up the stack, or up the chain. So if you've got desktop solutions or full-blown applications, you're also going to benefit from those tighter resources on a per-thread basis. So you can have more connections being serviced with the same amount of resources, basically. In addition to that, we also offer our certification that we talked about in the webinar a little bit. That's one place that wolfSSL really stands out from the competition, in the sense that we are committed to validating our cryptography library and getting it up to the latest standards. So I see that someone was trying to ask a question in chat, possibly.
Uh, yeah, okay. Well, we got a few questions coming
I'll
in.
jump to the other ones real quick. So someone asked if we have customer validation regression tests. Absolutely. So for customer validation, one of the support packages we offer allows customers to provide their configuration and or their actual hardware platforms, and we'll integrate those into our regression tests. That basically means that anytime wolfSSL checks in code or makes changes, your company's configuration and hardware will be tested. So you're guaranteed that any future releases of the code will actually be validated against your product or your environment.
Okay, awesome. We have another question here. Is wolfSSL CSFC certified?
I'm not real familiar with CSFC, but I would invite you to write into our facts, FACTS at wolfSSL.com and pose that question, and we'll look it up, and or we'll get someone to help answer that.
Awesome. And then I guess CFCT or CSFC is Commercial Solutions for Classified Programs and
Right.
NSA program.
Yeah. So the NSA is a little bit more strict on even releasing their certifications, and so we could definitely get back to you on that. And so, like I said, I'll invite you to email the facts at wolfSSL.com, and we'll get some more relevant information to you.
Okay.
I also see a question about the vulnerability list. Yeah, so wolfSSL absolutely does publish that. I think it's wolfSSL.com/vulnerabilities, possibly. Certainly a quick Google search will pop it up. I'm not sure about Mocana being as open with their vulnerability list. You might have to dig through the CVE lists on the NIST site.
Yeah, and we make sure to be as up to date as possible for our vulnerability list as well. So
Yeah, and that's the other benefit there that I'd like to talk about a little bit. So not only do you get a list of the vulnerabilities, but we also provide the source fixes for those. So if you're actually working on an older version and you want to see whether or not you would rather stay on that older revision and maybe integrate those changes that were used to fix that CVE, that's absolutely possible with wolfSSL, whereas that would not be possible with a closed source solution.
okay, awesome. I think those are the last of our questions. As Eric said, if you have any other questions or comments, oh, we have one more question here. Does wolfSSL provide certificate management?
So yes, there is a cert manager built into wolfSSL. The documentation is readily available for that. We've also got a number of examples, excellent examples on our example repository that's available off of our main github.com/wolfSSL site. So yeah, I would encourage you to go explore that, play around with the examples, and let us know if there's anything that's missing that you'd like to see in there.
All righty, fantastic. Now I think that was the last of our questions. As Eric had stated before, if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to email us at facts, that's FACTS at wolfSSL.com, and we'll be happy to help you. And this webinar will be available on our YouTube channel shortly after the presentation. Yeah, thank you, Eric, so much for being here and for a fantastic presentation. And thank you everyone for attending. I hope everyone has a great day.